This is just a recap of the main points. The first thing we looked at was this equation Zn RT equals PV, and we wanted the subject to be n divided by v. In other words, we want to end up with n upon v equals something. Now, n's already in the position where we want it. That's the numerator on the left hand side of the equal sign. So to remove the terms multiplying n, z, r and t, we just divide by z, r, t, remembering that when we see two variables beside each other, or three beside each other, they're multiplied together. So divide both sides of the equation by the same thing, and it's still an equation. And then here we see we can cancel the t's and the r's and the z's, because z divided by z is 1, r divided by r is 1, t divided by t is 1. So that just leaves us with n on the left hand side equal to pv upon z rt. And then the next step, we want to actually have n divided by v on the left hand side. So if we now divide both sides of the equation by v, we'll see that these v's on the right cancel, leaving us with n divided by v equals p upon zrt. And this is just the same as if, from the starting point, where we had z in rt equal to pv. If we imagine that any of these terms can move diagonally across the equal sign, so the t can move down under the pv, asking the r and the z, and the v can move down underneath the n. Then straight away we could observe then that n upon v is equal to p upon z rt. So that's termed cross multiplication. So if both sides of the equation are composed of terms multiplied together, then any of those terms individually is free to move diagonally across the equal sign. Another thing we looked at was this part of an equation where we have v representing a volume times this term in bracket 1 minus s, and we're told that s represents a fraction. And so the question was, what is the significance of the 1 there? Well, if we multiply out that bracket, we have v times 1, which is v, and then we have v times minus s, so that's minus sv. Now, s is a fraction of the volume, so we could represent this graphically. This rectangle represents v. Then s times v, let's say s was the fraction 1/3, then s times v could be represented by that shaded area. And then the remainder must be v minus sv, which we know we can rewrite as v bracket 1 minus s.